Now, volcanic eruptions over the weekend on Indonesia's popular holiday island of Bali have prompted officials to cancel flights and evacuate almost 25,000 residents. On Monday morning, the authorities raised the threat of the volcano erupting to the highest possible level. Won Jong-hwan reports.
The alert level for Bali's Mount Agung has been raised from level 3 to level 4, the highest possible level. Authorities have also extended the exclusion zone on the tourist island and urged people within 10 kilometers of the volcano to evacuate. The head of the Indonesian Geological Agency said the alert level was raised because the volcano has shifted from steam-based eruptions to magma-based eruptions. But he also said he is not expecting any more major eruptions.
CNN's Ivan Cabrera is live from the CNN Weather Center as he watches this.
Ivan, tell us more about this eruption. How long is it going to go on and how bad could it get? Do we know?
Yeah, Martin, in fact, it had been behaving itself for a few weeks here. As you mentioned, 25,000 people still in shelters as a result of the volcano here. Mount Agung in Indonesia had been dormant since 1963. It has not been in the last few weeks. In fact, 2 eruptions in the last week. The latest one, very strong, goes all the way up to 13,000 feet, which of course is where planes fly, which is why we've had disruption in travel. We've had cancellations. We've had diversions. We've had upwards of 2,000 people at the airport there stranded and waiting for help. The reason the airplanes can't fly through this, we can fly through a lot of things, right? But ash in particular is very dangerous to aircraft because as that plume goes up, it has basically volcanic ash, and it also has components that can clog up the area here, and that can result in some significant problems with the engine. The magma cools, and then it cakes on the combustor then, and you got big-time problems. And sometimes you can't see the plume of smoke. The particulates are so small that the radar on the aircraft can't even pick it up. So we'll watch this closely. The radar depicting some shower and thunderstorm activity. That will likely cause problems right at the surface as the ash comes down. In fact, we have reports that ash is falling as far away as the island just to the east. So we'll see if we get the big eruption, but for now, we'll continue to monitor the airspace there, which remains quite dangerous, guys.
The volcano spewed gray smoke and steam as high as 4,000 meters into the air on Sunday, and that grounded flights. Still, the airport remains open.
Last night, there were several airlines who cancelled flights such as KLM, Jetstar Airways, AirAsia and Virgin Atlantic, but all the passengers have been well served. Some of them were lodged in hotels and some passengers flew with other airlines.
Bali, a top Indonesian go-to resort for many vacationers, but now one they want to leave. Mount Agung is close to erupting, and its smoke and ash is keeping some air travelers from getting out.
We had planned to go back to Adelaide in South Australia this evening. We actually got here quite early, but now we've found that the flights have been cancelled. Now, we weren't notified by Jetstar in advance of us getting here, so we're very disappointed about that.
Flights have been cancelled or delayed after the 3,000-meter high mountain bleached columns of ash into the sky, leaving at least 2,000 tourists stranded. Bali, famous for its surf, beaches and temples, attracted nearly 5 million visitors last year. But business has slumped in areas around the volcano since September, when Mount Agung's volcanic tremor began to increase. Mount Agung last erupted in 1963, killing over 1,000 people and destroying several villages. It is one of around 130 active volcanoes in Indonesia, which sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a belt of tectonic activity running around the rim of the Pacific Ocean.
Thousands of people on Bali are now in emergency shelters. The Balinese Emergency Office told 80,000 residents and tourists in close proximity to Mount Agung to evacuate their homes and camps.
I'm really worried because we feel the tremors are getting stronger and continuous over the last few days.
Seismologists have been recording what they call a tremendous increase in seismic activity near Mount Agung. Indonesia sits on the Ring of Fire, which is an arc of volcanoes and fault lines encircling the Pacific Basin. The last time the 3,000-meter-tall mountain erupted, it killed more than 1,000 people and injured hundreds more. It spewed ash as high as 20 kilometers, reaching the capital Jakarta, about 1,000 kilometers away. Lava from the last eruption flowed nearly 8 kilometers. Residents and tourists who are outside the 9-kilometer radius of the crater and at least 12 kilometers from where lava could flow have been told they are not in danger.
All we've heard is what is on Facebook, and we're a fair way away. No one's been commenting on it or saying anything different, and we feel quite safe here at this stage.
No, they haven't said to return home quick, but just to be aware.
Flights at Bali's international airport are operating as normal, and tour companies say they have seen no disruption across the rest of the island. Over the past few days, a series of earthquakes along the Ring of Fire have hit Mexico, Japan, Vanuatu, and New Zealand.